Support for Radio Friends comes from Homestead Senior Care, providing trustworthy, kind-hearted senior home care services in your loved one's home. All caregivers are thoroughly screened, extensively trained, professional, and reliable. Homestead is all about providing the highest quality home care service to fit you and your family's needs. Plus, if you would be interested in becoming a caregiver, they offer great part-time positions. Give them a call at 573-442-4333 or check it out at homestead.com. Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Thursday, December the 28th. We're going to talk about the comic strips today, and I want to introduce you to JOAN STACK, a friend of mine for a long time, the State Historical Society, and you brought somebody along with you.
Yes, that's right. This whole semester, I have been lucky enough to have an intern working with me as in the art curator department at the State Historical Society, and this is KATE REINERT, and she's been doing a lot of things with me. She's studying public history, so how do you present history to the public? And of course, we do a lot of that in the art collection. So she, this semester, has been working on an exhibit that she developed out of our materials. So we looked at different things in the collection, and the thing that interested her were the original comic strips that we have from the 1940s and 50s. And I'll let her tell you a little bit about the exhibit she developed.
Did you, Kate, did you grow up reading the comic strips?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I loved reading Blondie when I was little. And
see, I remember Blondie and Nancy. Do you remember Nancy?
Yes.
Oh, you do remember that? The Family Circus?
Oh, yeah.
All of those.
I used to, whenever I go to my grandma's, ask her to save back the Sunday papers so I could see the full color ones.
Yeah. So this has been a project that's been very close and dear to your heart. Mm-hmm. So what have you come up with?
Well, I decided to kind of separate the exhibit based on representations of women in the war, both on the home front, in the home, just the traditional female role within the family, and also during the war, going into the workforce, usually for the first time for a lot of women, and also joining the military.
Yeah. So the comic strips were really reflecting the time that they were published in. Now, you brought along a couple of here. This is Blondie, and tell me about that.
Well, this is from shortly after the war in 1947. And I chose this comic because I felt like it represented kind of just Blondie in general, just the kind of short.
So this was after the war, you said? Or
yes.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's okay. So this was after the war, and you could tell how the clothing on the women started changing a bit after the war. They became a little more fashionable, didn't they?
Yeah.
And this originally, for those of you listening on the radio, we have a reproduction of an original strip which was drawn by
Chick Young.
Chick Young.
And this is the original drawing in the exhibit. Now, we have a reproduction here, which is a very good reproduction, but if you want to see the original, come to the State Historical Society. We have a case exhibit that Kate has organized, and we are closed this week. Today is December 28th, but on January 2nd, we will reopen, and you can come and see this wonderful exhibit.
So you have the original?
The original drawings.
How'd you get that?
Well, this is from a collection, the L.M. White collection, which L.M. White was the editor of the Mexico Ledger during the 1940s and 50s, and he would write to these cartoonists, and they would send him cartoons.
They send him the originals.
So we have some beautiful originals. And so Kate will tell you a little bit about this really great original by Milton Caniff.
Okay, this next one is that I'm holding?
Yeah, it's from Terry and the Pirates from Milton Caniff. This one's from 1944, so during the war. And it's actually on the U.S. Air Force Base in China that Terry and the Pirates is based around during World War II.
Yeah.
And the two women in this are Miss Burma and Willa Belinda. Miss Burma's the blonde one. And they're talking about a recent conflict that had gone on with Terry and this man called Mr. Duncan. And even though they both aren't actually in the military, you can see how involved they are. They're surrounded by it every day in this comic, and pretty active with the people in the military and helping them out. And
Now, so this is Terry and the Pirates, and I'm sure people listening to us, if they remember these comic strips. Now, is Terry and the Pirates, is it still being published today?
No.
So it's out of publication now.
But Milton Caniff is considered one of the greats in that period. And Terry and the Pirates was very exciting. It was representing the war while the war was going on. And Willa Belinda, she actually wanted to be in the military, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so she's wearing a U.S. Air Force shirt, and she's looking forward to joining the military, but she's too young.
Now, do you have the original of this also?
Yes, we do. And we have two Milton Caniff, Terry and the Pirates.
So how many original strips do you have?
We have over 100.
You've got 100 original strips?
So we will have how many on display?
I believe it's 8.
So we'll have 8 original strips on display showing these different aspects of women during this period.
Do you have any of Charles Schultz?
We don't. We do have some Beetle Bailey, Mort Walker, but no, we don't have Charles Schultz.
So you got Mort Walker,
Yes.
original strips.
Yes, we
Okay.
have.
So if people want to see these, how long will they be on display?
Well, we are going to have this up through Women's History Month, so they will be up through the month of March.
So January, February, and March.
That's right.
Will you be alternating the original strips that you have on display each month?
No, we will have the same group, and so you'll have a long time to go and see that 3-month period.
Okay. And how many, you're going to have the originals, but then you're going to have duplicates like this available also to see?
Well, we're going to have the originals in the case, and then we will have Kate's discussion of the theme, the idea, so that people can see how these comics that were what people saw on the home front, the way they had connected with the war during this period, how that really is a reflection of the culture. One of the things that Kate is doing is seeing how art is a reflection of history. We think of the comics as just a throwaway thing, but it was very much a part of the way people understood the war, the way people understood gender roles. All of those things are reflected in the comics.
And you know, and many people took the comics, the funny paper, as they used to say. That's before your time. You don't remember them being called the funny paper, do you?
Oh, that's what my grandma always called them.
Grandma did, okay. But the old timers used to call it the funny papers. But they took that very seriously. That was really, my father, I remember every day we used to get the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. One of the first things he did, he'd go to the funny papers and look at that. And then Sunday, of course, everything was in color. And that was the big fabulous one of the week.
And they were so big.
Yes.
They were beautiful and big, and they had fabulous artists.
It's not that way anymore, though.
Yeah, it's not quite like that now.
If people want more information, how do they contact you?
Yes, they can go to our website at shsmo.org, or they can phone us at 573-882-7083.
Okay, and you're closed on Mondays.
Yes, we are closed on Mondays.
And this exhibit will open on Tuesday, January the 2nd.
That's right.
Thank you, Joan and Kate. Appreciate you coming by.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
out of time for today. Tomorrow, Hank Waters will be on. We're going to talk about, we're going to reminisce about 2017. If there's something you'd like to hear or see, I'd love to hear from you. Drop me an email, pepperp@missouri.edu. Bye-bye.